Right. Okay. Right. Well, welcome to Kitchen Conversation with just Lisa. Sterling's busy doing something else for the moment. So I thought I'd take a minute to actually have a chat with Lynne Regent from the Anaphylaxis Campaign. And we're at the SOFHT Allergen Symposium today. And so, Lynne, I just wondered, you gave a great presentation.
Thank you.
I just wondered what you've taken away from the other speakers and the mood of the room really today.
Well, it's absolutely fascinating for me to speak at conferences like this because it gives me the opportunity to come face to face with a lot of people who are working across the food industry. And the role that I play in these conferences is not about telling people what to do, but rather telling them why they need to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So my focus is very much around engaging with the food industry and telling them why it's so important that they do get allergens right. And there are also quite a few myths out there about allergies, even today. So, for example, people talk a lot about the 14 allergens that have to be listed by law since 2014. But people can be allergic to so many other things.
Yeah. Hundreds, really.
Hundreds of things. So actually it's important that the food industry knows all the ingredients that are in their food and not just focus solely on those 14.
Yeah, I'm really with you there because, it's so difficult for people if they want to know whether something's in the food and the business can't find the ingredient, or usually in a small business, they can go around the back and they can get the package out, can't they? And that's why that dialogue is so good, isn't it? Where you've got the business comes out with all the packaging, I've seen it happen, and then you can go through one by one what's actually in the food. But of course, it's absolutely critical for those people who've got an allergy to something else to know what's actually in the food, the full ingredients list.
It is really, really important. And also understanding, sometimes companies, and I understand why they do it, get hung up on getting something like nuts right, when actually the most difficult allergen to avoid and the one that causes the most fatalities is milk.
I think a lot of people would be surprised by that.
But, talking at conferences like this gives me the opportunity to reinforce some of those sorts of facts. The fact that 2/3 of people will be allergic to more than one allergen. So even if you get the nuts right for them, you may also need to get other ingredients right for them as well.
Do you also find that there's a difference? People have a poor perception of what a nut is and what a peanut is.
Absolutely. And I've never given long enough for my presentations in these events. I'd like to have the whole day. But in the presentation, I'm able to highlight certain things and then to respond to questions. And some of that usually leads to debate and discussion about that sort of issue. But the other thing about attending something like this is I get pushback, and that's a good thing. So, for example, when there's changes in the law proposed, like pre-pack for direct sale, and understandably, people would expect our organisation to be all for it, and we are. But today I learned a lot from the audience and from discussion about the worries that businesses have about taking that legislation forward. And that's useful to hear and to know and to understand, so that we understand the challenges in a very direct way that the food industry do face.
Yeah, and I think it's fantastic that you're here and that we liaise as much as possible between enforcers, businesses, and people representing the allergic consumer. Because if we don't all talk together, then we don't really understand where we're coming from. And I mean, at the end of the day, what we've got to do is make it safer for the allergic customer, but we've also got to keep businesses in business, and we've got to help businesses to get where they want to be, because they don't want to kill anybody off. They want to run their business safely, and we just need to try to help them to do that in the best possible way. And that's why, it's great to have this conversation as well, and to sort of keep this open really, and keep the conversation going.
I think that's true, and I think the one message that came out today, and we've had some very interesting and wide-ranging presentations around all sorts of areas, is the importance of communication, and that's communication between the allergic person and the food business, communication between those who run food businesses, organisations like ourselves. So we all understand the challenges that we're facing and can move forward in a positive way together. So I'd absolutely endorse that.
Brilliant. Well, thanks so much for having a
Thank
chat,
you.
and I really enjoyed your presentation.
Thank
and
you.
I hope to see you again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.